It's going. Does it need the record button? Yeah, we can start. All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to In Wheel Time, Houston's award-winning #1 weekly car talk show on ESPN 97.5. We think. Today's in-studio guest, Carolina Serranos from Professional Auto Care. Also on today's 2-hour show, you'll hear our weekly Ram Tracks and Jeep Trails features. In our new car showroom are the Ford F-150 and the Subaru Outback. Plus, we'll have this week's automotive news. That and more just ahead on today's In Wheel Time car show for Saturday, February 8th, 2020. We are all things automotive. Today's show is presented by Ram Trucks, back-to-back truck of Texas, and by Jeep. Celebrate President's Day with a true legend of American adventure, the Jeep brand, and get deals on our legendary lineup of SUVs at the Jeep President's Day event. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars and Run Me Ragged King Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us online, especially today, because this broadcast is being recorded for playback on Sunday at noon on ESPN Radio. Why, you ask? Well, I'm glad that you asked, because we're being preempted again today by Texas A&M basketball, followed by the Houston Roughnecks XFL football debut. Not that anybody in our audience would care anything about that, because we are automotive people.
That's right.
We just keep
the automotive people.
Right. And we just keep that kind of stuff in the background while we're working on cars and going through paperwork to see what we're doing in our maintenance schedule, filling up tires, making sure the pressure's right.
Only because that little yellow light's on the U with the question mark in it because it got cold this week.
I'm just going to say, well, it came on and then it went off.
Because it warmed up.
Because it warmed up. Now what do we do? Wait a minute, is that a nail in there? No.
So this morning I get out and I go out and get in my Charger SRT fleet car for the week.
Yes.
And I get up and I crank it up and I go down the street and boom, that little light comes on. I said, well, it was cold. I had put on a jacket this morning. I get down the street a little bit further and I look a little bit closer. 6 pounds of air in that tire.
Oh, no, you've got a flat. Welcome to my world.
Either that or he's headed to the track and he wanted to lower the rear tire pressure a little bit to get some bite.
Yeah, wrinkle up those
in the
back
driveway.
tires.
Yeah, it was wrinkled all right. But it didn't come back up. So it got to the house, and I got the truck, and so I drove the truck instead of getting out on the freeway. No spare.
I know.
No,
So if you remember correctly, I went through that whole thing as Conrad opens his beer over here, so just forgive us of that. But, yes, I went through that whole routine. I explained it on the air. The car had no spare tire.
No.
And unfortunately, I nicked a landscaping rock with that little bitty sidewall on that car. Well, guess what? The spare tire flat fixer
Wouldn't fill the gap.
it would fill that ginormous slice in the side of the tire. They had to wrecker it to the dealership and then wait for a tire because, as it turns out, that tire wasn't available anywhere in Houston because it's a new car.
And
So they had to
specific
get
to-
it. Yeah, it's
specific to that
specific
car.
for that car. And so they had to ship it down from Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit.
Oh, my God, what
Well,
a
I'm
nightmare.
going to call them this afternoon or probably end up being Monday morning and see what they want to do because I'll try the fix a flat thing. I'll try it and see if it'll work.
And by the way,
I didn't have time this morning.
When you try that, tell me if you're able to do it without looking at the instruction manual, because I wasn't. Had no clue how to do it, because there are 2 hoses out there. 2 hoses coming out of the little disposable pump-up thing that you plug into the cigarette lighter. So you tell me. Next weekend, remind me. We have to have a report.
I'm going to find out.
I think it'd be really cool to
make
make
a
a video.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We need some
See the
YouTube material.
struggle.
There we go.
That's perfect. I think that you should do that.
That'd be cool.
Is her microphone up high enough? Because it doesn't seem like it is. But
I turned it up.
maybe it's just me and my old ears. Oh, that's exactly what it is. Thank you
Besides
for
that,
asking.
you can trim the
So
hair.
in the trim the hair out of it. So in the studio with us today, somebody that doesn't need to talk about ear or nose hair whatsoever.
Oh, my gosh.
Is Carolina Serratos, or shall we say Queen Frostine, because she does have her Princess Tiara on today, and I really appreciate you wearing that because I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of being in the same room with you.
That goes without saying, but
Don's jealous.
Ray is for sure. But it's great to see you. Thanks so much for coming in on your Saturday. Not that you had anything else to do.
Right, no.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, not at all.
Right.
So how are things over at Professional Auto Care these days? Busy as ever?
busy.
That's
Very
good.
Busy,
I'm
but
glad to hear
very
that.
Grateful.
Well, yeah, and rightly so, because it got a great shop over there. As a matter of fact, this is where I take my personal car. Yes, I do have one. It's old, like me, but it still runs, and she takes care of it.
But the question is, because I watch your social media page, does Don bring food like a lot of your other customers do?
Don does not bring any snacks. For
Okay,
everybody.
well,
I was
Does
going to
not,
bring some
but-
special snacks back from Denver. However, I
You're not
was
allowed to
afraid
cross the
that
state line
I
with
was
them.
afraid that I wouldn't be able to make it through TSA security. So, lucky you, is all I can say. So, Carolina actually runs the place. Her dad started it back, in the 80s?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
early
in the
80s.
80s. And it's in this nondescript, well, it actually is a descript area. If anybody is old enough listening to this broadcast and remember Westwood Mall, it's kind of catty corner from that intersection. Westwood Mall is now whatever it is. But anyway, Bissonnette and 69, which I'm trying to get into the habit of calling it I-69 instead of US 59, Southwest Freeway, Southwest Houston. And it's worth the drive over there if you're looking for a real, honest-to-goodness, legit, honest repair shop.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And there are a lot of those around, but there are also some that really shouldn't be in business because they're not real, honest, and whatever.
And I think what that comes with our business in particular is our level of transparency. So even if we are far from you, or you just want a second opinion, or you just want to know, is it time for me to get a new car? You can always come and get our Service Smart checkout. We look over the whole car and give you evidence as far as why we failed something, a picture proving why that item needs to be taken care of, and more importantly, why that's important to do it.
You know,
You
you
can
got
take
some
that
guys working
anywhere.
for you over there that have been with you for a long time. Yeah.
Long time.
And knowing your dad through you, I can imagine that all those guys have towed the line and they've earned their stripes, so to speak. And they go along with your family's philosophy, and that is be honest, be true, and stick to your guns on that.
That's right.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I don't know, somebody with your organization, maybe it was you, was sharing a story with me about somebody came in with a brake problem. They call, hey, I got a brake problem, blah, blah, blah. And as it turns out, the brakes were just plain bad. And you said, we either got to do it this way or we're not going to do it because we can't guarantee when you leave here that it's going to work with
right.
this minimal repair that you're asking us to do. And who doesn't want to hear that? I mean, if it's not drivable, if it's not safe to drive, I want to know. I'm not going to drive a car that's not safe. Go out and kill somebody by accident, you're liable.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, the shop becomes liable
Right.
because they inspected it, and in that inspection, they saw that it was unsafe for the road. So they have to communicate that to the customer. And if the customer wants to leave, a lot of shops are going to say, you can take it, but you're going to have to leave my property on a record because I'm not going to let you drive the vehicle out, or you can make the repair to it.
Yeah.
Right.
And you have to make, especially on brakes, you have to make the correct repair.
Absolutely.
It's not
It's
just
not a
making the
touch-up.
cheap repair.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know it's all of the television shows that I watch, and I watch a lot. I mean, I am probably the biggest fan of Motor Trend TV that there is out there, most loyal viewer, and for all of the legitimate repair shops that are on there, the number one is, can you stop it? Do the brakes work?
Right.
Do they work good? Because you can get it to go down the road, but if you can't stop it,
You can
you're-
drive the car with a misfire. You can't stop the car without
Right.
brakes, and that's pretty important because that puts more people in danger if you let the car out.
So, what do you want to talk about today? I know that you brought some stuff, and we always talk about.
She's always prepared.
Always.
Way more prepared than we are sometimes. She figured that out when she walked in the doors. We're swapping studios.
Well, as many years as she's been coming here, she knows exactly what she's going to get herself into.
To expect the unexpected.
That's right. Kind of like today with us switching studios at the last minute.
Are you a Big Brother fan? Is that where Expect the Unexpected comes from?
No.
Okay.
What is Big Brother?
Oh, well, that's a phrase they use on one of the TV shows.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Never mind.
She doesn't have time to watch TV.
No, she doesn't.
But Don does.
I do. Yeah.
Because he doesn't have to worry about his car. That's why.
That's
You're
true.
taking care
That's
of
right.
it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice save.
So, what? Anything in particular you want to talk about? Because we can certainly talk about maintenance all day long.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
can, sure. And then,
What did you bring with you?
well, I brought.
I'm
It was
curious.
cold. Like it was 37 degrees one
Yeah.
morning. I think it was Thursday morning.
Yes.
And on Monday, I had gone in with a sleeveless shirt and shorts.
Nice.
And then I have to bundle up at the end of the week, so I figured I could talk about what to do when it gets cold outside for your car. And then I go outside today and it's warm.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. It's back up to 80 degrees. Yeah.
And
Right.
and we're supposed to have storms pretty much all next
All
week,
next
up
week.
until Thursday, and then
Supposed to have a gorgeous weekend.
a gorgeous weekend for tailpipes and tacos. Fabulous return at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy. You'll have to come out sometime. I think you'll really enjoy it. And it's from 8 to 11 at the Loopy's on 99 at Kingsland, which is a little
February 15th.
Bit, yeah, from 8 to 11.
Is the rolls running?
Yeah, it is.
You ought to bring it out.
Okay.
No,
there's-
seriously.
there's all kinds of things out there.
It's a great variety of cars that comes to Tailpipes and Tacos. It's not all show cars. It's every range of what you're looking for: cars, trucks, motorcycles, and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Your rolls would attract attention because it's such a cool and unique car.
Okay.
Do that sometime.
Okay.
And, then if
And
it's
make
not-
sure you wear the crown
Make sure. Oh, goodness.
or the tiara.
Yeah.
I think I might get some looks. It's not Disney World.
Did you go to Disney World this year?
I went for Christmas.
Did you?
You go every
Because
year.
I know you go every year.
We camp there.
Do you really?
Yeah, we take our travel trailer
How fun.
and we camp there for about a week. Yeah.
How
This is
fun.
a big family thing. It's not just.
Yeah, it's a family tradition probably for the last, I've been every year since I was 3.
You've been every year since I've been calling on you guys. Because you shut the shop down.
Yes.
Yeah,
We
it's.
closed for a
I'm
week.
sorry, we're out of business. We're a family business, and we're going to
That's
take
right.
care of family because that's the priority.
We, and
Everybody gets the week off.
you got
Everybody
to
gets to go.
appreciate
That's
that.
right.
There's a barbecue place over by the airport. They do the same thing. Family-owned barbecue place. They're only open for lunch, Monday through Friday. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow.
And great family. Love them to death. Know them kind of like I know you. And they take off between Christmas and New Year's and 4th of July week. You get 2 weeks, and everybody does their own thing.
Right.
Sometimes it involves family. Sometimes they all go their own separate ways. But, there's a lot to be said about that. It's that insider kind of deal. It's part of kind of what we do here. We have gotten so many friends, and they're like family to us. Stan and Sheila, Loopy Tortilla, Seth Angel out at Baytown Raceway.
Lonnie and Todd,
Lonnie
they were
and
on
Todd.
last week.
Yeah, exactly.
Zeke and
Right.
all these people. You guys, we all just kind of, and that's why we're kind of comfortable having you come on anytime. Is we know we're going to have a good conversation and the
Right.
topic's going to be right, but you don't have to be overly prepared, even though you do, because that's kind of your nature. And you've already figured out we're never prepared. So we're glad at least
Gotta
one
make
of
up
us
for it.
is.
But
Well,
that's
now-
the great thing about a family tradition, though. I mean, everybody knows, so everybody can count on it. So
Absolutely.
we've been trying for the last couple of years talking to, we got the kids, then we got the grandkids, and trying to find some time in everybody's schedule because everybody's already making plans, they're already into the routines, and so
Right.
it's really hard. But y'all started long enough ago that's just what you do.
That's right. And then
And everybody
longtime
knows.
people know that that's what it is. Now, if you need something, some people have my personal number, and everyone has my email address.
I've got your personal
I know
number,
you
little
do.
girl.
That's,
and they can
that's
always
scary.
reach out. We're
Right.
always going to be there, but at the same time, I think in this day and age, it's so important to make time for
Break when you're ready.
have your own sort of routines as
Right,
well.
right. I think that's wonderful. We wish we would have done that a long time
But
ago.
that also reflects in your customer base as well, because I've been over there, and your customers walk in, and it's almost like family walking in.
Yes.
Because they know you so well. They show up. Hey, it's time for whatever it is I'm doing on my car, and they trust you guys to take care of them and do the right thing.
Right.
And that's not unusual in the automotive business, but it's somewhat rare. The automotive business anymore has kind of gotten so big and
Corporations.
corporate and
Right.
stuff that doing business with a family business I think is very important, because it gives you that personal touch, as opposed to being, oh, your account number or your tag number BA743. No, you're Mr. Anderson.
There's
and
a level of accountability
right.
that I will run into at the grocery store, or if something goes wrong, that I'm going to fix it.
Right.
It's kind of like going to see Floyd the barber in Mayberry. He's more than just the barber. Yeah, I mean, he is the town psychologist,
Gossip.
all of the things, but he's part of the family.
Well, I was over at your shop. I was over there visiting with John Gray, and I swung around because I'd never
Yeah.
been to your shop.
Uh-huh.
And I, she always comes in here. She's always dressed nice. Her hair's all done. Got her tiara on and everything. You walk in the shop, I mean, she's got her shirt on. Her sleeveless shirt. She's in there working. She's not
Working.
just sitting behind a desk.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Gloves, dirt on my face.
Yeah,
sometimes,
out in the middle of the
yes.
shop. I thought it was really cool.
Carolina Serratos, our guest in the studio today. Professional Auto Care is the name of the company. We're going to talk more about maintenance and tires and car washes and stuff at the bottom of the hour. Hey, you can always take our show with you on your smartphone by downloading the station app, ESPN 97.5, when we're on that. And you can also catch us on Facebook all the time when we're live. So we've got more of the In Wheel Time radio program coming up right after this quick break. Stay with us.
Ram Trucks, back-to-back truck of Texas. The landscape in the Lone Star State has changed, and we've changed with it. Stronger, more powerful, innovative, and luxurious. Awards are great, but the only thing on our mind is getting better, delivering harder for Texans, and pushing the limits of what's possible. Because when you lead from within, you redefine what a truck can do. Ram, built to serve. Ram is registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
If you love them enough to listen to them practice the same song on tuba
Got it.
Be done.
over and over and over and over and over, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Sounds good, honey.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
That is perfect. Probably one of the greatest movies ever. And if you don't know what it is, wait till after the car review. We'll give you a little time to think about it. And Mr. Mars, in the meantime, is going to review on the In Wheel Time radio program what's inside the new car showroom, which would be the Subaru Outback.
Yes, sir. We are talking about the 2020 Subaru Outback Limited. Now, this is, it's been a while since I've been in the Subaru, particularly this one, and it's grown a little bit since the last time. And it is actually a CUV SUV, so it's kind of a smallish mid-size if you're trying to figure out what size it is. So it's a hatchback-type vehicle, basically what we used to call a station wagon. And they've made it all new for 2020. It's 1 inch longer, it's an inch wider, got a lot of nice touches to it that went around as they were redoing it. Comes with the Limited comes with a moonroof. We got heated power side mirrors, because this is a real popular vehicle up north where it's cold, got a lot of ice, got a lot of snow, because it's all-wheel drive. All the Subarus come with all-wheel drive. And so it has become very popular because of that. And it's got an 8.7-inch high stance, so it does set up a little bit higher. It kind of perched up on the tires, the 18-inch alloy wheels, so it's got a nice look. So that's what kind of makes it really good for being in rough weather conditions. Got roof rails on it. It's got a LED headlights on it, got auto height adjustments on the headlights, as well as the steering repositioning on it as you're driving it. Got a rear vision camera that's actually got a washer on it. Again, this is all geared toward bad weather.
A washer on the rear vision camera.
On the rear vision camera, yes, sir.
Smart.
Got a power rear gate. It's actually hands-free, one of those that you can kind of swipe your foot at it and get it to go up. Now, you get into the inside, and it's not going to be real rough and ready. It's got some nice touches to it in the limited edition because that's where you're going to find your leather-trimmed upholstery. The front seats are heated, but the heating element in the back comes up to the shoulder height. It's not just down in the lower portion, so it comes up a little bit higher than most of them.
For my bursitis.
Yes, and it works good. The rear seat is a 60/40. It folds, and it's split, and it folds down to give you a little more cargo room. Now, up front, in the limited edition, there's 11.6-inch high-resolution touchscreen for all your convenience controls, climate control, radio. It's where you're going to see your rear-view camera and all these kind of things that you're going to be looking for. And another really nice touch they've got, the interior door handles have got illumination on them so that at night, if you got the lights off, it's a little bit easier to find the handles when you're getting out of it. Now, the rear console in the rear seat has got AC outlets on it so that you get plenty of cool air going back there. It's got 4 USB ports. Some of these cars are kind of cutting down. The one I've got right now has only got 2 USB ports for the whole car. But the Subaru Limited's got 4 of them.
Because everybody in the car needs to be on their phone.
Everybody's going to be on their phone. Now, for cargo, if the seats are folded, the rear seats folded up, you can put 32.5 cubic feet of cargo in there, which is not bad. But you can fold that down, and you can actually pick up to 75.7 cubic feet of cargo. So you can put a lot of stuff in the back of this little vehicle. And the other thing that was real interesting on it, I was driving it, and I got this thing that came up in the driver's, in what we used to call the pod, the gauge pod, and it told me to pay attention to the road. And it has a driver focus, which is a distraction mitigation system. And if it senses that you're not paying attention to the road, it's going to tell you to pay attention to the road. I never could figure out exactly how to trigger it.
Oh, God.
But I was looking off to the side.
Minute. So it's your mother.
It's your mother. That's what it needs.
You pay attention right now.
That's what it needs, that thing. It's your mother. Pay attention.
Then it needs a little thing to smack you in the back of the head, too.
A little headrest that goes flop. So anyway, it's got a, it's still using the 2.5 liter as the base engine, but it's been updated. It's got a lot of new parts in it, and it is a boxer flat 4 type of engine. Now, for 2020, the 2.5 liter has 182 horsepower and 176 pound-feet of torque. There is a 2.4 liter turbo engine that is available, but we didn't have it in this vehicle. It's backed by a CVT, but this CVT's got an 8-speed manual mode with paddle shifters. If you put it in manual, you can actually play like you got
in the Subaru Outback.
In the Subaru Outback.
Okay.
Now, properly equipped, this vehicle will tow 2,700 pounds, which is bad. It'll pull you a little light camper, a little yard trailer, or even a jet ski or two. In the city, the EPA says you should be looking for 26 miles per gallon. Out on the highway, you should be getting about 33. Now, it was real easy. The week I had it, drove it around. It's kind of a different driving dynamic because of the CVT and stuff. If you're just driving it, it's very smooth. You don't really notice the CVT. Now, you step off into it, and you really notice that CVT, but you pull it over in that manual gear, and it starts making you think you've got some gears to play with in the paddle shifter. And it's a lot different. There's a real difference in those two driving modes.
Well, most all Subarus are CVT anymore.
Yes, they are. But you get out on the highway, it's a nice, smooth, comfortable ride, very responsive steering. You feel like you're in touch with the road. If you're looking for something to compare this to, you could look at a Buick Envision. It starts at $31,995. Step out to a Volvo V60, $39,650, or even a Honda Passport at $31,900. The base Outback is $26,645. If you step up to the Limited, where you're going to get a lot of these features that we were looking at here, it starts at $33,445, and the MSRP is tested is $36,500 for a vehicle that is surprisingly comfortable, confident, building driving experience.
Thanks for joining us here today on the In Wheel Time radio program on ESPN 97.5.
It's time to celebrate
It's Wyken, and I have her on the line.
the Jeep brand. Because living in the land of the free means occasionally taking the road less traveled. And that's a whole lot easier in a Jeep Cherokee with available trail-rated 4x4 capability. Or in the Jeep Grand Cherokee with an available 8.4-inch Uconnect touchscreen, where adventure's never been more luxurious. Because this President's Day, you deserve a little adventure, and there's no place to find it like the Jeep President's Day event. Jeep is a registered trademark.
It's back and better than ever. Tailpipes and Tacos, West Houston's best Saturday morning cruise-in car show, returns February 15th. Tailpipes and Tacos welcomes all specialty cars, classics, hot rods, and trucks. Coffee, tacos, and cars at Loopy Tortillas in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland, just 2 minutes south of I-10. Saturday morning, February 15th from 8 to 11. Tailpipes and Tacos at Loopy Tortillas in Katy. Proceeds benefit Shirley's Kids, a 501c3 charity, weather permitting. We'll see you there. It's the In Real Time radio program on ESPN 97.5. Also streaming on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us today. And by the way, the answer to the musical question earlier was the Blazing Saddles music at the end of the movie, which was crazy. And that you just listened to was from the Rumors album, which is how old is that now?
46 years.
46. For the Rumors album?
No, 46 years for Blazing Saddles, and Rumors was released in 1977, so 43 years.
God. Oh, my God. I'm so old. All right. Well, moving on. Joining us live on our line now is Crystal Weichen, and she's going to talk to us about something that I saw on the television. It was either last weekend or weekend before. It was one of those like all-girls garage or some sort of a fix-it-up show on a Sunday morning, and they were putting on some accessories on a Jeep Wrangler, Crystal, and you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, and they put on this Bolt single-key technology that happened to be embedded in the grill. You familiar with that?
Yes, and you are exactly correct.
What show was that?
That all-girls garage.
Bingo! My memory,
right.
you know, those
pills are working.
Those memory pills are working, baby.
Prevagen, we need to advertise
Yeah,
for 'em, right?
exactly. So tell me about this Bolt single key technology. I thought it was fascinating, but I want to know more. Tell me, what is it, first of all?
Yes, so BOLT, it stands for Breakthrough One Key Lock Technology. And it's a series of locks that all, like you mentioned, they all open with your vehicle ignition key. So it kind of eliminates having to carry that big key ring with all those keys. It gets rid of that issue. And the cool thing about them is they're super easy to set and code. So when you purchase them, you just insert your key into the lock and you turn it clockwise till it stops. And that's it. It permanently codes to your key. So you can just have one key to open all of those locks.
That is so cool. So is it available for all vehicles?
Yes. So we have a bunch of different locks. They work with make specific. So we have locks for Ford, GM, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Toyota, and Nissan, and then Jeep.
Okay, so
well.
I need to know more information about this. Is there a website or something that I can go to, Bolt?
Yes. So we have boltlock.com, and we have all of our locks that we have available on there. We have a drop-down where you can put in your vehicle information to get exactly what products will work with your vehicle. So it's super easy to find exactly which lock will work with your vehicle.
And I'm also assuming that there's a video on there that explains in detail exactly how it works.
Yep. So on our website and our social pages as well, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, we have a video that shows exactly a little more in detail on how the lock actually codes to your key.
How long has this company been in business?
We started making bolt locks about 2009, and we actually, our parent company makes actually all the OE locks for Jeep. Our parent company is actually Stratec, and they were actually a part of Briggs & Stratton and have been around a long time.
Wait a minute. So are you in Milwaukee?
We are in Milwaukee, yes.
Well, I'm from Waukesha, so hi.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so us cheeseheads got to stick together.
I was going to say, you know how to pronounce it, so you have to be from here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Milwaukee.
So, Crystal,
Yes.
It doesn't just work on like your car doors and stuff. You've got some setup for trailers and things.
We do. So we have our coupler pin lock, which locks your trailer onto your hitch. And then we have our off-vehicle coupler lock for any unattended trailers, especially when you're storing them for the winter. They're super nice. They're a really good option, weather resistant, for keeping that stuff safe when you're not using it.
Well, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your day, Wisconsinite, and we really appreciate you spending some time with us down here in the nice, toasty Houston, Texas area. I think today's high temperature is supposed to be something like 75 degrees, just rubbing it in.
Oh, thank you.
So come on down and visit us. Yeah, come on down and visit us anytime.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And let's stay in touch. Let me know you got something else new coming up because I find it fascinating.
Yeah, I definitely will.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again. Crystal Wyken with Bolt Single Key Technology. Time now for the car calendar. In Wheel Time's weekly look into what's coming up.
Well, you know, there's always great stuff going on. Tonight is the icebreaker night for Nifty 50s. So up there at Grogan's Mill, Randall's, from 4 to 8, Nifty 50s is going to have their kickoff event of the year. And then also Bombshells Highway 249 is going to be this coming Wednesday. This coming Thursday is going to be Rudy's Barbecue on 249. Let's see. Then next weekend as well as
You want me
Tailpipes.
to come over here and do this
Yeah,
for you?
next week is going to be Tailpipes and Tacos. I didn't realize I had color, and I ran out of color on my printer, so I'm trying to remember what was in there. Klein Forest.
The blue didn't print.
Correct. Correct. So Klein Forest High School on March 21st is going to have their automotive department fundraising car show.
All right.
That's it.
Spit it out.
I stumbled through. I
That's
didn't
okay.
realize it didn't print blue until I sat down and looked at it.
And looked at it. Way to go. Thank you. That sounds like a Don Armstrong all over right there. Hey, calling all car clubs. We'd love to feature your bunch in our car club spotlight. Just shoot us an email with your contact information and we'll get your bunch on the air and online. In Wheel Time continues after a quick break on ESPN 97.5.
Ram Trucks, back-to-back truck of Texas. The landscape in the Lone Star State has changed, and we've changed with it. Stronger, more powerful, innovative, and luxurious. Awards are great, but the only thing on our mind is getting better, delivering harder for Texans, and pushing the limits of what's possible. Because when you lead from within, you redefine what a truck can do. Ram, built to serve. Ram is registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
From ESPN 97.5 and Facebook and YouTube, it's Houston's most popular weekly award-winning car talk show in Wheel Time. Today's program presented by Ram Trucks, back-to-back truck of Texas, and by Jeep. Celebrate President's Day with a true legend of American adventure, the Jeep brand, and get deals on our legendary lineup of SUVs at the Jeep President's Day event. Howdy along with Mike out of this world, Mars, and King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. Our in-studio guest today, Carolina Serratos from Professional Auto Care. And, you know, through all of that 15-minute little time that we talked to you last, I don't know as if we actually came up with something that we were going to talk about, but I think that you touched on inspecting cars that you may think about buying. And let me just say this about that. You know, I read a story a couple of weeks ago about buying certified pre-owned. And from what little experience I have in certified pre-owned, you take it for granted that the dealership has done their job. And they have done what is specified for the car to be inspected to get a certified pre-owned rating. But that does not mean that they have looked at it like a professional shop like yours does. And there could be some things that weren't really discussed,
focused on,
or discovered in the pre-owned process to make it pre-owned at a dealership or wherever it is that you buy the pre-owned vehicle. And so I would say from my experience, which is lengthy, and I'll tell you about my conversation with my buddy Ross Putnam, who he and I ran the Richardson Chevrolet Wrecker out to pick up cars that had broken down back in the day, and it's quite a tale to tell. But at any rate, you just don't really know what you're getting. Right. And the bargain is when you get something that's like, say, for instance, a 35,000-mile car that's been taken care of. They've got, the oil changes all listed on there, so we put a new set of tires on there. It looks good. The brakes are inspected. Yeah, they're about halfway worn out, but they look good. They're good enough for another 35,000 miles. But do they actually look for the things like a leak in the power steering hose that may go undetected in that inspection? Because these guys are going through these cars like a factory. Yeah, quickly. And they may overlook that. And that's one of the things about taking a car like that to somebody like you, that the attention to detail in the inspection is a little bit more involved than the pre-owned certification inspection.
I think it all depends on what you're looking for as a consumer, how much money you're spending on the car. Some people, if it's a cash car, they're going to take whatever risk are associated with it. But even with a certified pre-owned, I've had a client who had a certified pre-owned vehicle, and there was obvious evidence at some point there was some body work that was done on the front, and it was clear overspray. That was not in the Carfax, and that was never disclosed to my client.
And if it hadn't been reported through insurance, or there was no accident report, who would know?
It's not going to be on there. And that was.
And if you've got a $1,000 deductible, and it's only going to cost you $200 for the guy down on the corner to slap some Bondo on it and paint it up, hey?
Well, the way insurance works these days, even if it was going to cost you $1,200, because by the time you factor in what your insurance is going to do to you because of that accident, you may pay the cash and just not do the insurance at all.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Right. So it still had a certified pre-owned, stamp of approval on it. So I think it kind of goes on what you're saying as far as getting the whole car looked over, and especially taking it to a place that's going to lift it up. There's a lot of inspections out there that they can go on site to the dealership, which is incredibly convenient, right? You cannot beat that level of convenience. I mean, they can have the report back with you within a couple hours. I mean, that's amazing. But taking it somewhere so they can actually lift the vehicle, and perhaps it's still in a manufacturer warranty. I mean, I found things before in vehicles, not just on pre-purchases, but even through our Service Smart Check, that I can get a picture, give it to a customer. Here, take this to
the dealership
GM or the dealer or whatever, and show them this. And they go in, hand it to them, and they get it covered under warranty.
Well, and some of that's the difference by you're looking at it with a critical eye, and in some instances, the certified pre-owned technicians are looking at it as, I've got 7 more to do today, so I'm going to run through them. I have a checklist to check off.
And it checks off.
And it all checks off, and off they go, where you're looking at it for the view of trying to protect your client from making a mistake.
Well, it's the difference between looking at it like I'm a seller, and this is what I got to do to sell this, versus I'm a buyer. What am I looking for as a buyer to take possession? It's two different mindsets.
I just want to throw this question out there because I honestly don't know. So let's talk about Carvana. Let's talk about all of the online buying services that apparently are popular enough that these companies remain in business and are doing quite well.
Very well.
What kind of inspections do they do? Are there any guarantees that they give you? I know that they'll say, hey, if you don't like the car within 5 days, bring it back. No questions asked.
Right.
Okay, that's all fine, well, and good, but I didn't go through this whole rigmarole to have a car, pick it out, go pick it up, sign the paperwork to bring it back in 5 days. I want to have a decent car that I feel confident in driving, that I don't have some sort of hidden flaw in it, and they might not even know about it.
Right,
so
absolutely.
I really, when you're spending that kind of money, hey, a used car, $20,000 used car.
That's a cheap used car.
That's a cheap used car. Yeah. Because today, 30, 40, 50, $60,000 used cars. That's a lot of dough, man.
Right. Well, and it's a used car. There are no guarantees unless you're getting an aftermarket policy that goes with it, or it's a business that says we'll give you 5 or 7 days to return the car. One of the things you want to pay attention to, if they're going to give you X amount of time to return the car, find out before you buy the car, is that to return the car and get your money back, or is that to return the car and get credit towards another car they have in inventory? So there's two ways.
There's that, too.
Yeah, there's 2 ways that they do that. So you want to be prepared, that you're knowledgeable as far as what they're trying to do on some of those returns.
So I call you on the phone, Carolina. I got a car, and I'm thinking
a 66 Corvair.
No, let's not even go there. So I've got a car that's 3 years old. I'm buying it from one of the online places around, and I want you to inspect it.
Sure.
So, do I need to schedule an appointment with you? Can you do it that day or the next day? How does it work?
You just give me a call, or you can go on our website and schedule online.
Jeep Trails when you're ready.
Hey, you want to come in, and then we'll just confirm and make sure we can accommodate your request.
Okay. And what do you do internally? Do you have one person that does these inspections, or do all of your guys kind of?
It's more like a team effort, really. So the master tech is the one who oversees the whole inspection, and he actually fills out the report itself. And then we'll have another ASE certified technician that actually puts it on the alignment rack, because we do check the alignment readings with all pre-purchase and also with our service smart checks.
And that's smart. Because you learn stuff on the alignment machine you won't know.
You won't know just by visually looking at it. So, and then once it's already set up, the sensors are on, the readings have been taken, the master tech then steps back into the bay and then finishes looking over and writes up his report based upon the readings that were taken. And then from there, I go ahead and look over the report, organize with the master tech in regard to safety, repair, and maintenance, and then I even make an estimate as far as how much X services are going to cost. And depending on what you're looking for, you can either go back to the dealer and say, this thing needs brakes, or it's needing brakes like in 3 months. I've already spent this money on this car. I wasn't expecting to have to do a brake job
right
now. And a lot of times the dealers in good faith will just take care of it, which is amazing. And then as far as maintenance, these are things that the vehicle is behind in maintenance on, and whether you can arrange the dealer to take care of that, or we have a discussion and we can help you figure out how soon you need to take care of X, Y, and Z items. I think the most important thing is it's not just buying the car, it's like keeping up the car. What does it actually cost to sustain something? And unfortunately, that's just not something we're taught growing up anymore. There's no auto mechanics. There's no, homemaking or cooking classes or just balancing your checkbook. I mean, we don't learn any of that in school.
The simple things of life they're not teaching in school anymore.
Right. And just how to manage a car. I mean, that's a huge responsibility. I mean, and the same thing as when you have a house, or even when you buy clothes. If you leave on the floor of your room, they're going to get ruined. You wash them and hang them up. It's just all these little things that just explode into huge problems.
But that's where bringing it in for pre-purchase inspection, you're putting the vehicle in the hands of somebody who knows what they're looking at, and if they're a well-experienced technician, he knows this car, this brand of car, these are the things I need to look at on a Ford product versus these are the things I need to look at on a General Motors product, because they know what the common issues are on each of those brands.
One of the things that comes to my mind is 35,000 miles. Let's just say that somebody drove the car and the front right wheel was out of balance, and it went down the road and it bounced itself to 35,000 miles, and the person threw up their hands and said, I'm just going to get me another car. Well, now it's got a ball joint issue, or it's got some sort of rack and pinion issue. It could have a shock issue. It could have a tire issue. Who knows? It could be anything. And if you don't do a correct inspection on it and find out, how are you going to know? You're going to wind up spending thousands of dollars more to get it repaired.
Because had you fixed the maintenance problem, you won't have the repair problem. Maintenance is always cheaper than repair.
But Carolina, people just don't know. It's maintenance.
You're right. Carolina Serratos, our guest in the studio today with us. We sure appreciate you coming in. We'll talk to her again more at the top of the hour. Time now for our Jeep Trails feature, In Wheel Time's weekly look into the world of Jeeping. And Mr. Mars has that.
Yes, I do.
Right on top of the stack.
Right there where I left it. So a couple of things going on. The Chicago Auto Show is going on right now, so a lot of people are doing a lot of things up there. And one of the things that Jeep has done, they've got a new model or new trim level that they introduced at the Chicago Auto Show called the Gladiator Mojave. And this is their tribute or their off-road performance, their high-performance off-road vehicle that they've come up with. And it's got a lot of things on it, like the extended shocks on it, the different gear. It comes with the 14 gears on it, and the bigger tires. It's got a lot of things that if you want to be a high-speed desert racer, which is something that we would come closer to doing down here in southeast Texas than we would rock crawling, because we can run the beaches or anything, that this is more designed for that desert racer concept and the ability to do things like that you can't technically legally do around here.
Something like a Raptor truck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That way Mike can do the on-beach acceleration test.
Well, I want you to know that I had a Raptor. I hadn't had a Raptor in several years. I had a Raptor last week that I'll review here in a couple of weeks. But I'm telling you, that V6 engine, oh my gosh, forget the V8. You don't need that anymore.
Yeah, a little
that twin turbocharged V6 with over 350 horsepower, or something
365,
whatever it is, in bad in the bone. And that new 10-speed automatic transmission that GM and Ford went in together with, that thing rocks the automotive world, friends. Just saying. All right, thank you, sir. Coming up, stories making automotive news headlines this week and more on the In Wheel Time radio program on ESPN 97.5.
It's time to
I have Troy on the line.
adventure, the Jeep brand. Because living in the land of the free means occasionally taking the road less traveled. And that's a whole lot easier in a Jeep Cherokee with available trail-rated 4x4 capability. Or in the Jeep Grand Cherokee with an available 8.4-inch Uconnect touchscreen, where adventure's never been more luxurious. Because this President's Day, you deserve a little adventure. And there's no place to find it like the Jeep President's Day event. Jeep is a registered trademark.
In Wheel Time is Houston's most awarded #1 radio car show, and we'd like to bring an In Wheel Time broadcast to your event or fundraiser. Hey, you want to spice up your car show, your cruise in or car club event? Send an email to info@inwheeltime.com. We'll develop a marketing package that'll put your bunch in front of the biggest radio and social media car audience in Houston. Listen to the In Wheel Time show live every Saturday noon to 2 and watch our stream on YouTube and Facebook. It's Houston's favorite car show. Check us out, inwheeltime.com. Doesn't have to be some great recording studio.
Actually, I saw Fleetwood Mac in 2009 at Madison Square Garden in New York.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
There's a band out of Galveston. It's a cover band, but it's called the Secret Party Band. And the lead singer, the female singer, she gets out there with the hair. She puts on the hat, and you close your eyes, and you'd swear that's who that is.
Really?
Ooh, well,
She is good.
I love cover bands. And speaking of cover bands, my favorite, well, one of my favorites, Britt Floyd's coming back to Smart Financial Center in
Sounds
June.
like an outing.
Oh, it is. And I got some great seats. Yeah, baby.
How many seats did you get?
2.
One for you, one for me?
Exactly. Not. On the phone with us right now from the Houston Mopar Connection Car Club, Troy Hawks. Troy, thanks for joining us. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Just tinkering here in the garage, working on my Mopars here on a nice Saturday morning.
And listening to us.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Good answer.
Good answer. The only answer, yeah. So, Troy, tell me about Houston Mopar Connection. I just like the name because I think that there was an ad back in the day for Mopars that is called the Mopar Connection. Am I dreaming this up?
Well, back in the day, back in the '70s, there was the performance brand of Chrysler Corporation was called Direct Connection. I don't know if that's what you're thinking about.
It could very well be that, yes.
Yeah, and
But-
that's kind of where the original founders of the Mopar Connection Club back in the '80s kind of originated the name. You know, we even had a symbol of the two arrows kind of pointing to each other.
I love it.
And obviously we're a club, and in today's world, connection, you know, fellowship and bringing people together.
Absolutely.
So that's what it's all about.
Absolutely, it is. So, what are you working on in the garage today?
ask him.
Well, I'm staring at I got a '69 Hemi Charger Daytona that I'm tinkering with, and right now I'm working on the grill on this '70 Grand Coupe convertible Barracuda, and just got through messing with the front suspension of my friend's six-pack '71 Challenger RT.
So do they all come over to your house?
Well, the Hemi Daytona is mine. The Grand Coupe convertible is a car that I'm working on to make some extra cash for the press release '69 Hemi Charger Daytona. Charger 500 that I've got is in the paint shop right now. That's my car, and that's kind of a pedigree car. It's in the original batch of Charger 500s built for press release for the magazines back in the day when these things were brand new and freshly released.
So let me rephrase the question. Do you have your Mopar Connection friends that come over like on a Friday night and y'all get underneath the hood of the car or something?
Well, I kind of wish we did, but, you know, we're all kind of family and we all got lives and kids and soccer games and basketball and church and this and that. So, no, I wish that we did. I mean, during my days back in the 80s in Fort Worth, we did that every single Friday. We'd have just hang out in the garage and chit-chat. If it was a winter, had a space heater and had a beer or two and just talk Mopar.
You know, you could have lied to me and said, yes. Yeah. And the way that conversation would have gone is, well, yes, Don, we do that quite frequently. Back in the 70s, Don.
Well, no, actually, we still do it, but we don't do it in my garage. I got a friend of mine in the Magnolia area who's a member, and, I mean, he's got 5 big-time pedigree cars, and, I mean, I just got through messing with putting a drivetrain in one of his 2 Superbirds there, and so there is still a very active Mopar scene that I'm attributed to it, and I mean, it's in my blood. Just ask my wife.
No, well, we can tell just by talking to you. And, And Mr. Mars reminded me that we met you out at the Hemi Hideout, and, you know, it's always good to talk to the Houston Mopar Connection man about town.
Yeah, John Hovis is a pretty good guy, and he's extended his Hemi Hideout for a bunch of our Mopar Club, you know, Christmas parties that we've had and special events and fundraisers. So he's a real good guy.
Well, Troy, it's great to talk to you. Do you have do you guys have a website or a Facebook page or something?
Yeah, the Facebook page is kind of mine. That's I'm sure people have connected with me. But the Houston Club itself is HoustonMopars.org. So it's HoustonMopars.org.
Yep.
And Gary Hamill, he's been awesome with, I don't know, going on 2 to 3 decades as a webmaster, and to keep up with activities that are going on in the Houston area, events throughout the Houston area, because, you know, Houston's a huge town that everybody just can't go to the same place at the same time, all 4 corners of the county.
I have to confess to you that not that long ago, just a few weeks ago, I had the Challenger 392, and I have fallen in love with the Challenger 392 Scat Pack, and I guess that the main reason is because it's got the horsepower, more horsepower than I would ever use, and it's not the price of a Hellcat. It's kind of a happy little marriage in there. So you get the horsepower without all the extra, because let's face it, I mean, those Hellcats, $80,000, that's an expensive car.
And the good looks. And Don, you and good
without
looks
a doubt
just go together.
I mean, it's the Roadrunner of its day, due to the fact, you know, mid-price range. You know, the GTX was the Hellcat of the day.
Yeah.
You throw a 426 Hemi in it, and that was the Hellcat of the day.
Well, I'll tell you what.
So the Challenger, they really hit a home run when they brought that model out. You know, it looks almost exactly like a 71 Challenger, without a doubt.
Hey, man, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to talk to us today. Let's stay in touch.
Hey, take care and good job with you guys. Thank you for the chat and the call.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
we appreciate it. Troy Hawks, Houston Mopar Connection Car Club. And this reminder, if you're a member of a car club, we'd like to put your group in our car club spotlight. All you got to do is shoot us an email, contact information to info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for the racing calendar. Hello, racing.
Well, this weekend's the start of NHRA. They're out at Pomona, Winter Nationals. And Top Fuel, they're having trouble filling the fields. There's only 12 Top Fuelers vying for 16 spaces. There are 16 funny cars. There are actually 20 pro stocks. A friend of the show, Erica Enders, and 3-time world champion pro stock driver, as of last night, was number 2 in qualifying. In 2 weeks, the C8 Corvette team is going to be up at Circuit of the Americas in Austin at the World Endurance Challenge. And then Formula One starts first of in March. IndyCars start in March. But tomorrow night is the Daytona Clash, which is the non-points event for NASCAR. So we're getting into the beginning of everybody's season with NHRA and NASCAR starting this weekend.
Just ahead on In Wheel Time, this week's auto news headlines coming up next on ESPN 97.5.
Ram Trucks. Back-to-back Truck of Texas. The landscape in the Lone Star State has changed, and we've changed with it. Stronger, more powerful, innovative, and luxurious. Awards are great, but the only thing on our mind is getting better, delivering harder for Texans, and pushing the limits of what's possible. Because when you lead from within, you redefine what a truck can do. Ram, built to serve. Ram is registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
It's back and better than ever. Tailpipes and Tacos, West Houston's best Saturday morning cruise-in car show, returns February 15th. Tailpipes and Tacos welcomes all specialty cars.
Just FYI, I've got her mic turned all the way up, so that's as much volume as I can give her. It might help if you take the windscreen off.
Tailpipes and Tacos at Loopy Tortillas in Katy. Proceeds benefit Shirley's Kids, a 501c3 charity, weather permitting. We'll see you there. Led Zeppelin, that's another anniversary. So,
4 was released.
50 years
and
since
that was the album that had Stairway to Heaven on it.
You know, there's a Led Zeppelin cover band roaming the Houston area that I can't remember what it was. I saw it online last night. Hey, time now for the stories making automotive news headlines this week here on the In Wheel Time radio program from autonews.com. Well, this one's not. This was a press release issued by TxDOT. Did you know that nearly half of Texas teens killed in vehicle crashes in 2018 were not wearing a seatbelt?
Oh my gosh! How can that happen in today's world?
Thank you. Vehicle crashes are the leading cause of deaths among teenagers. 2018, of the 264 teen drivers and passengers killed in vehicle crashes in Texas, 111 were unrestrained.
Oh, wow.
Texas law requires drivers and all passengers to wear a seatbelt. Unbuckled, fees up to $200 fine. I thought, I didn't know that.
No, I would have figured just be on your phone or some sort of distraction like that.
Half.
How would you not put your seatbelt on?
Unbelievable. This is also another unbelievable story. Cadillac CT6 was supposed to be the flagship sedan that led Cadillac's rebirth. It was the first full-size Cadillac with rear-wheel drive in 2 decades. The only Cadillac offering a high-powered Blackwing V8 and the only way to get Super Cruise, a driver assist system that I had, that many critics say outperforms Tesla's autopilot. But 4 years after its arrival, the car that former Cadillac chief Johan Denishin introduced as Prestige Luxury Reimagined is kaput. The Michigan plant that stopped making it last week is slated to instead churn out electric vehicles starting next year.
Wow.
See ya.
See ya. Bye-bye. Jeep's Groundhog Day commercial wins USA Today's Super Bowl ad meter. And I posted a behind-the-scenes look in making that commercial on our Facebook page today.
Go there and look at it and give us a like.
Scoring 7.01 out of 10, the fourth quarter commercial marked Jeep's first ad meter win and the first victory for a car brand since Kia took home the top spot in 2017. In the automaker's 60-second Groundhog Day spot, Bill Murray reprises his role as the meteorologist Phil Connors from the 1993 comedy classic of the same name. Stephen Tobolowsky also makes a cameo as insurance salesman Ned Ryerson, and Brian Dolmore appears as the top hat-wearing Groundhog Day master of ceremonies.
Awesome commercial. Brought all those old faces back to it.
Yep. Production of the 2020 Chevy Corvette, which was delayed by the UAW strike against GM, began Monday at Bowling Green. GM said it expects shipments of the mid-engine sports car to dealerships to begin late February or early March. Why the hell are they holding them back so long?
Well, because they had to wait for parts to come up.
No, but I mean they're already making them. They're making them. That's
they
the
go
story.
through. Actually, Bowling Green's got a pretty intense quality control area, and they want to make sure they had enough cars through quality control.
And by the way, Chevy plans to release a two-part documentary giving a behind-the-scenes look at the development of the first mid-engine Corvette and the team that built it. Documentary will be available on GM's media site in the next few months, according to a company spokesperson. And as soon as it's available, we will share that with you on our website and on our Facebook page.
Do they still do factory tours there?
They've stopped a lot of factory tours everywhere.
Okay.
Bowling Green they do, but they kind of run them through the National Corvette Museum.
Oh, really?
That they, as the National Corvette Museum will put something together, but they're very rare anymore.
Wow, really? I guess I'm lucky then.
Back with hour number 2 of our broadcast after a quick break. You're listening to In Wheel Time on ESPN 97.5.
It's time to celebrate President's Day with a true legend of American adventure, the Jeep brand. Because living in the land of the free means occasionally taking the road less traveled. And that's a whole lot easier in a Jeep Cherokee with available trail-rated 4x4 capability. Or in the Jeep Grand Cherokee with an available 8.4-inch Uconnect touchscreen, where adventure's never been more luxurious. Because this President's Day, you deserve a little adventure. And there's no place to find it like the Jeep President's Day event. Jeep is a registered trademark.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off and to wear a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's hour number 2 of Houston's #1 weekly award-winning car talk show, In Wheel Time, on ESPN 97.5 and also streaming on Facebook and YouTube. Our in-studio guest today, Carolina Serratos from Professional Auto Care. In our new car showroom this hour is the Ford F-150. We'll have a review of that. Conrad has his popular car clinic. Let me see this again. What
did I do when I went out for dinner last night?
Oh, my God. And, you know, I have all sorts of sick thoughts that wind up at home for some reason. I'm sorry, but that's who I am. We'll also have our Ram Tracks feature.
Don't you go changing just for me.
I won't. We'll also have our Ram Tracks feature, and you'll hear the stories making auto news headlines this week, all just ahead on this week's In Wheel Time car show. Today's program is presented by Jeep. Celebrate President's Day with a true legend of American adventure, the Jeep brand, and get deals on our legendary lineup of SUVs at the Jeep President's Day event. And by Ram Trucks, back-to-back truck of Texas. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, and King Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. As I mentioned, in the studio with us today, Carolina Serratos. What do you want to talk about this hour? We talked about car inspections of used cars, I know that a lot of used cars, as a matter of fact, you know, Nissan is not doing well in the showroom. And I read a story that the dealers are trying to survive because they're just not selling new cars. They're kind of one of these manufacturers that has got caught in between going gasoline to electric, and their fleets are getting a little long in the tooth, and their advertising has fallen short, and a whole myriad of things. So people aren't walking into dealerships like they used to. Sales are down like 24% or something.
Like the Rogue, like the best-selling SUV, though?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was.
They've got a couple of models that are doing really well, but as far as overall, and then you throw in all the turmoil that you hear about in the news up at the corporate level, that's got to be affecting everybody.
Everything.
Well,
it is.
Isn't Titan going out of production?
I don't know about that. But
Not yet.
I will tell you this, that
the Cummins diesel is going out of production in the Titan. They're dropping the diesel in the Titan.
Well, all I can say is that the dealers and more dealers, and I know too in particular, that they make more money on used cars than they do on new cars.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
if you think about it, it's mainly because they're so price competitive these days, and the markup on new vehicles, although we may think it's enormous, it is really not enormous, because you've got a building, you've got employees, you got to keep people employed, you got to keep the doors open. All of that costs money. And selling a new car, there's just not enough markup on that new car to be able to do that. So the way that they compensate is through the shop, the repair shop,
Yep.
and selling used cars.
As well as selling finance products.
That too.
Yep.
And so, a matter of fact, I have a good friend that is a friend of this show that listens to this show in Missouri, and she told me, hey, we make our money on selling used cars.
Candace is watching us on Facebook. Hi, Candace.
Hi, and thank you for joining us, Candace. Hi. So, at any rate, I guess to not to just kill the messenger here, used cars are huge, and the inspection process obviously needs to take place. So let's switch gears. We've been over that. Let's switch gears and talk about the car that we currently own. And people are owning and keeping cars longer and longer these days, and they don't have the warranties anymore. They're out of warranty. But if you've done your homework and you keep up with all of the maintenance and the scheduled repairs, and you don't have a fender flopping on the freeway, and the tires may pop at any time, and you keep up with your car, and it's a reliable car. Matter of fact, I know somebody that has a 15-year-old Nissan Murano. It looks brand new. They've kept up with it. They keep it clean. They keep the maintenance up on it, that sort of stuff. If you do the right thing, then you got a car. Katie's car, the 2007 Ford Focus with now 100 and close to 70,000 miles on it. Thanks to you, it's still going in Denver.
Yeah, one of my clients has an '04 MDX, and that thing is immaculate. It looks brand new. I mean, he's just taken even the cosmetics aspect of it. He is taking care of whether doing leather treatments to it, making sure he puts paint protectant on it. I mean, besides all the maintenance, I think it has like 170-some thousand miles, something like that.
A car that you would buy with 170,000 miles on it. Matter of fact, you, sir, did you see his new truck?
No.
He's got a new truck that he bought, and I'm going, Mars bought a brand new truck. No, it's not brand new. What year is it?
It's a 2015.
A 2015 Ram 1500. Looks brand new. How many miles? 65,000?
Yep. 65.
It looks brand new.
Well,
inside and out.
But the lady that had it, she actually worked across the street from a dealership in a little town, and they did all the maintenance on it. That's where she took it and did everything on it. She decided she liked the new ones, so she decided to buy a new one and traded that one in.
So and I think I shared this with you before we went on the air, and I've been working with him on this, trying to find a Carolina Serrato's Professional Auto Care place in Denver near Katie's house where she lives that we can trust and put our faith in and have a working relationship with. And she's got an oil change that's due, and I said, go over there, introduce yourself.
Try it out.
Get the vibe. If you don't get the vibe, great. Tell them that you'll bring it back, and, you're it. And if you don't get the vibe, let me know. We'll find someplace else.
Right, that's smart.
Yeah, that's a real smart thing to do.
Try it with an oil change first and say inspection. See how they treat you at that point. You don't want to be looking for a shop when you need something urgently.
Exactly.
So
and that was the
forward
point.
on the simple stuff to get the feel of, is it somebody I want to do business with? How did they treat you when you showed up? How was the process of the write-up and the delivery of the vehicle
Does it work
as well?
for you? Does it not work for you? Are you very much like phone oriented, so you want someone to call you? Are you very tech savvy and you love via email sort of thing? Are the estimates broken down how you like to be broken down?
Do they communicate with you?
Right, there you go.
Right.
And is it your style of communication? Exactly.
Well, we had that transmission issue. Conrad hooked me up with a transmission place there in Denver. And the first estimate is $2,500 is going to be a new clutch. And then he calls me back the next day and says, Don, I've got some kind of good news for you. I said, what would that be? Well, it's not the clutch. It's the hydraulic.
Slave cylinder.
The slave cylinder that actually helps so you don't have to all that effort on the clutch pedal. It's the slave cylinder. So for $550, boom, I saved myself $2,000.
Right.
He didn't have to do that.
Nope.
He could have charged you the $2,500, thrown the slave cylinder on, fixed the car, and off you go because you'd already agreed to the $2,500.
Wow.
But that's a matter of finding a place that's going to be fair and honest with you.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's you. And so finding you in Denver through connections, and you, both of you offered some connection sources. One is your BG,
Through BG
Find a Shop.
Well, as well as talking to the BG folks in Denver as well.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I got both of those from.
Right. And you with ASE.
ASE, yep.
ASE.
ASA.
ASE, Automotive Service Excellence.
Oh, the technicians.
The
Yes.
technicians.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well,
you can find we are a Blue Seal shop. They'll have a locator on their website, and you can locate a shop that's ASE Blue Seal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anybody there personally?
I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
No, the shop I gave you is ASC Blue Seal.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, there you go.
There you go.
And so
Yeah.
that's why we're having this discussion, because if you really want to find a shop that you move from Houston to Denver, you've done all this maintenance stuff that you've done. The car's still running. It's amazing for a little cheapo car like that it's still doing well. But that's thanks to you
Because you've kept it up. You've kept it maintained.
Right. She says, Don, you're going to need brakes the next time you come in. Okay, I got that schedule. We're going to put brakes on it next time you come in. You need this, 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 this. Okay, I can afford this, this, and this. That's no problem. We'll put that on the next time that you come in. So those kind of things are the important things to me as the owner of a car that has all that many miles on it. I don't want to let all of that go away. I want to keep up with that in Denver.
Right.
But it's the stress of finding the shop you can trust. It's kind of like finding the hairdresser you can trust,
Exactly.
or the
That's right.
dentist you can
Ooh,
trust.
I drive far
you
from
know,
both of those.
You know, or the
Very far.
Yeah, exactly.
My dentist is all the way up in like Humble, and so that's like an hour some drive for me to go see them.
Yeah, but the dentist is very important.
Yes.
he can make you or break
Well,
you.
and the same with an automotive shop. I mean, ultimately, it's just as important, though your smile is spectacular,
Thank
right?
you.
Yeah.
But,
Well
you know,
worth
it's...
the ride.
But that you're going to spend a lot of money with either of them, and you want to make sure that you're dealing with somebody trustworthy that does quality work and is going to be fair and honest with you.
Communication. I think you've really got it there in the beginning, Conrad. Just that communication of be able to carry a conversation of what's your plan for this car? Do you just want to get a new car because you like getting a new car every 5-7 years? That's fine. Let's see what we can do just to meet that goal. Or like in Katie's case, I want to keep this car until it just.
Well, we can't
keep it
afford a
anymore.
new car because we're paying off a whopping amount of college loans.
And at
No,
that
but
point,
you're
if you
right.
open that discussion, there's expectations are then clear on both sides. You know, I think a lot of times automotive shops, you know, some places just recommend the repair at hand, and they don't stress the maintenance that's involved. You know, Charlie Polston from BG Products has always said the maintenance is our responsibility to educate people because they're not getting this education elsewhere. And most people aren't going to sit down and read their owner's manual when they buy a car. It's just not going to happen.
You don't know that actually there is rear end grease in it, and it needs to be changed every lifetime, you know? And that car may have enough miles on it that you need to change the rear end grease in it.
Well,
Something
it's like,
silly
it's
like
like
that.
I teach quality shops. The reason people come to a quality shop is they're the expert. So the shop has to act as the expert and keep that customer informed and make honest recommendations of what they need to do to keep the car running a long time.
Right, and if you don't know, there's so many resources available as a shop owner. I can call BG. I can call the manufacturer directly. You know, there's so many subscriptions that we
Break when you're ready.
so we have this extra information to help our clients.
Right.
You were talking about the owner's manual. When we were looking at that truck, my wife opened the glove box. You know, she's nosing around. The owner's manual in there, it's still sealed. It's never
Oh,
been
wow.
unsealed. But again,
Not uncommon.
She just
Right.
drop it off and she'd walk
Yeah.
across the road to go to work and let the dealership take care
I
of it.
guess people aren't like my sister and I. We drove because we drive whenever we go to Florida most times, and we read the owner's manual in her Camaro for fun.
For fun.
For fun, yeah.
Wow.
We just wanted something to do. So she started reading the owner's
It's a
manual.
long, boring drive, but I never found it that boring.
But it's not uncommon for customers to never look in their owner's manual.
No.
To some degree, because they want to trust the shop that they're going to give those recommendations, but to other degrees because they don't want to be bothered with it. So you have to find somebody that's going to give you.
There's just so much stuff that we have to take care of just in life in general that the more we know of how to take care of and manage things, it's so much easier down the line to be successful. It's just with so many other things too.
Like me and my cable bill. My cable bill has risen to $180 a month, and I'm on a mission that I'm going to cut the cable.
Okay.
But to do that and to get the television programs that I want to get, I've got to put in the work. Is it Roku? Is it Hulu? I still need to have internet service. All of these little things that are a total pain to me. Kind of like this car repair stuff that we're talking about. No,
you're right. You're right.
Yeah. And do I want to do it? No, because it's easier to continue to pay getting ripped off for $180 some odd dollars a month for stupid cable that I watch about 4 or 5 channels on.
But it's like Carolina said earlier, what's the plan?
Right.
You know, if you have a plan,
we can be successful.
I got the plan. Give me Motor Trend, give me MeTV, give me FS1. I want to watch my drag racing. I want to watch my circle track
we
racing.
need TV land for Andy Griffith and Mayberry.
Well, that's MeTV.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we kind of started that a couple of years ago. I started that. My wife immediately said, HGTV stays, even if you don't. HGTV. And I haven't figured out where to pull it in yet. So, you know, it's
like
so you're
me.
still there.
I'm still there now.
Coming up next, we're going to review the Ford F-150. That's just ahead in the In Wheel Time New Car Showroom. Hey, be sure and stay in touch with us all week long by following us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and through our website, InWheelTime.com. Thanks for joining us here on ESPN 97.5.
It's time to celebrate President's Day with a true legend of American adventure, the Jeep brand. Because living in the land of the free means occasionally taking the road less traveled. And that's a whole lot easier in a Jeep Cherokee with available trail-rated 4x4 capability. Or in the Jeep Grand Cherokee with an available 8.4-inch Uconnect touchscreen where adventure's never been more luxurious. Because this President's Day, you deserve a little adventure. And there's no place to find it like the Jeep President's Day event. Jeep is a registered trademark.
It's back and better than ever. Tailpipes and Tacos, West Houston's best Saturday morning cruise-in car show returns February 15th. Tailpipes and Tacos welcomes all specialty cars, classics, hot rods, and trucks. Coffee, tacos, and cars at Loopy Tortillas in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland, just 2 minutes south of I-10. Saturday morning, February 15th from 8 to 11. Tailpipes and Tacos at Loopy Tortillas in Katy. Proceeds benefit Shirley's Kids, a 501c3 charity, weather permitting. We'll see you there.
More Fleetwood Mac rumors.
See, that's one of those cuts that I've never, but that's Fleetwood Mac off the Rumors album. Yeah. Hey, welcome back to the In Wheel Time radio program, Houston's most in-depth radio car show here on ESPN 97.5, on Facebook and on YouTube. If you're listening on the radio, you're listening on Sunday because this show has been preempted by every sports thing that you could possibly imagine, so we're not on a regular time on Saturday, but we'll be on tomorrow.
Thanks for joining us.
Now you can look at it like it's a 2-for weekend with In Wheel Time. You can see us on Facebook or YouTube and hear us, and then tomorrow you can hear us again.
It's like the best of.
The best of.
Oh my God. Okay, well I'm sure that. Okay, whatever you say that. Okay, so this week's car review is the 2019 Ford F-150. They sell how many millions of these a day?
All they build.
All they build. And here are the trim levels. It starts off with the XL. That's the base. The XLT is next up. Up the list is Lariat, followed by King Ranch, followed by Platinum. Oh no, there's one more. The Limited. Don Armstrong had the 4x2 Super Crew Limited.
Top of the line.
Nothing but the best for me, baby.
Styling, profiling, and styling.
It's considered a standard pickup truck in our world. It's called a half-ton. Seats 5 passengers because it is the Super Crew size. It has 4 doors on it. This truck was all new in 2015, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is the 13th generation of the F-150. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Exterior features, it's a Ford F-150. If you've not seen one, then you
Look out the
have
window.
been living under a rock.
Yeah, there's one driving by you right now.
Cab variations include regular, super cab, and super crew. So 3 cabs. Different trim levels have different grills and bumpers, and they make them look bigger and better and badder to the bone the higher up the totem pole you go. Bed lengths come in 5.5, 6.5, and 8-foot beds. Now, depending on the cab that you
Configuration,
choose.
right.
Correct. What I liked about it, all of the different combinations there that are available out there. And that's one of the huge attractions to me with a pickup truck, especially a half-ton, because you can configure this thing, unlike a car, any way that you want to, that's available, obviously. And that is truly attractive because it doesn't end there, and I'll get to more of that in just a minute. What could use improvement? Nothing. Interior highlights, contemporary dash, comfortable seating, top center dash storage divot.
Divot?
Mm-hmm, it's a divot. It's a indentation up there. It's a little storage.
It's a place to collect all the trash.
All the
stuff out of your pocket, right?
Yeah, change, whatever. Big center console storage area that you can also configure any way that you want to. Sync infotainment system works very well. Tons of back seat room. The seat bottom cushions are up, even makes for more room. What I liked about it, again, all of the options available. I had the 5-liter V8, V6s, Turbo EcoBoost, diesels, all that is also available, but we're going to focus on the 5-liter V8 that I had that has 395 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque with a 10-speed automatic transmission, tow rating up to 13,200 pounds, haul rating up to 2,260 pounds. Why would you not want this? It does everything, and it does it all in comfort. That thing rides like a limousine. Honest to God, it rides like a limousine.
They build them right because they've been building them a long time.
And you can see why they're so
it's
popular.
number one in the market.
17 miles per gallon city, 22 highway for a combined total of 19 miles per gallon. Now, this is with the 5-liter V8. I got 20.1 over 276 miles. What I liked about probably the best all-round drivetrain combo out there, and that is with that 10-speed automatic transmission. Boy,
like
is
that.
that thing sweet. It really is. What I liked about it, as I said, rode like a limo. Base trim price for the limited, $67,135. Prices tested, $71,150.
Had a little extra on it.
If you want to get into the base F-150, going to cost you $28,495
For an XL.
For the XL. Competitors, the Ram 1500 starts at $32,145. The Chevy 1500 Stripper, $28,300, and the Tundra, $33,575. And that is my review of the 2019 Ford F-150. We got more of the In Wheel Time radio program right after a quick break here on ESPN 97.5.
Ram.
I have Joe.
Back-to-back truck of Texas. The landscape in the Lone Star State has changed, and we've changed with it. Stronger, more powerful, innovative, and luxurious. Awards are great, but the only thing on our mind is getting better, delivering harder for Texans, and pushing the limits of what's possible. Because when you lead,
Let me check that.
redefine what a truck can do. Ram, built to serve. Ram is registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Moy.
911, what's your emergency?
God, there's a train that just hit a car.
Sir, what is your location? Look around for a street sign, sir.
It's 8th and Orchard. 8th and Orchard.
Okay, very good. 8th and Orchard. Sir, help is on the way.
Why would he do that? The train still doesn't stop. You have to get there now.
At a railway crossing, even if the engineer sees you and hits the brakes, it can take a mile for the train to stop. And for you, that's too late. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA.
If there's a bustle in your hedgerow, don't be alarmed,
You know, there aren't too many bands or groups that actually cover songs as well as Heart did at the Kennedy Center Honors, and this was the song. Oh my gosh, what
If you watch the video, you can see the Led Zeppelin guys come to tears with what a wonderful job they did with it.
And look that up sometime. If you've never seen it, it's unbelievable. Hey, it's the In Wheel Time radio program, Houston's most popular car talk show here on ESPN 97.5. And, you know, there are two major things that auto manufacturers, all of them, are spending bajillions of dollars on. One is electric, and the other is autonomous. And we have joining us right now on the phone Joe Moy. He is the CEO of a company called Beep. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Hey, Don. I'm doing well. Glad to be here.
Well, we sure appreciate you taking the time out of a Saturday. I know you're a busy guy, and hey, Saturday afternoons that's prime time. So we appreciate it. Tell me what the company that you are the head of, Beep, does.
So Beep specializes in deploying electric autonomous vehicles in a multi-passenger control speed environment. And I guess that's a long way of saying we provide transportation for public and private communities in those first mile, last mile type applications using these new autonomous vehicles and that innovative technology. So pretty exciting times, and we're deployed across a number of communities in Florida and elsewhere, and obviously launching a new project there in Arizona in the next couple of weeks.
So, Joe, all I can think of is the first thing that comes to mind is the train at the airport. Now, that's on a track, but this is kind of that. It's an automated and it's electric. The only difference is it's not on a track. It's not on train wheels. This thing is on rubber tires going down the street.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Don, and it's a great analogy. I tell you, the technology itself, just to give you a brief overview of how it works, is, today in these deployments, you have a geo-fenced kind of fixed route that is mapped into these vehicles. And so, using your train analogy, rather than it being on the tracks, it has that virtual track of what's been mapped into the vehicle and is ultimately driven by, a GPS connection. And then what you have on top of that, which is where, the whole area of autonomy starts to come in, is the scanners and sensors that, are looking at these three-dimensional images around the environment that the vehicle is traveling in, so that it can then perceive and react and respond to whether that's a pedestrian or another vehicle or any other type of obstacles that we obviously have to deal with on the roadways. So that's kind of how it's different, if you would, from your airport example.
Joe, all I can see is city buses going away.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think in these applications, certainly there's going to be, in these mobility solutions, the opportunity to displace, older means of transportation, such as buses. I don't think in the foreseeable future, in fact, I know in the foreseeable future, you're not going to see these driving in high-speed type environments. So where a bus is moving many passengers a long distance, these type applications are not necessarily going to replace that in the near term. It's more kind of providing that hub and spoke where a downtown area can eliminate some of these, larger, more, congesting type vehicles, if you will, that they could displace with these autonomous vehicles in that, again, that last mile, first mile type configuration, if that makes sense.
For instance, it would be like a hub right outside of town that you may want to park your car at, or the public transportation bus that has brought you from the outskirts of town out to downtown. And then you would jump onto one of these, and the routes could or could not be fixed. I guess depending on several factors. You could have a card in your pocket that the car would recognize, and it would take you to your place of work, for instance.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think that's a great vision for where we're going with these platforms. So, I think that, what I would add to it is in that hub and spoke configuration. Obviously, one of our objectives here is to eliminate, or create an alternative means of personal transportation. So a big driver in those downtown communities and even in private, developments and communities is to get cars off the road, eliminate the need for parking, remove road congestion, and then obviously have, a positive environmental impact in transforming to these electric vehicles.
Joe, where can we find out more info? I find this fascinating, and I'm just a car guy, and this is a car guy show. And gals, too, by the way. Don't want to leave out our female guest in the studio.
Yeah.
But
I was going to point that out.
Yeah, thank you. So Joe, where do we find out more information? I just find it fascinating. Obviously, you've got a website and Facebook page and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, please look us up at go-beep, BEEP.com, and love to provide any additional information we can for your listeners, and appreciate the opportunity to be with you today.
Well, it's certainly a real pleasure to talk to you, and maybe we could perhaps invite you to Houston, and we could put you together with some of the city people here to go, you know what, we've got a better idea than what you got. Let us present this to you.
Very fond of your fine city of Houston and would welcome the opportunity to come out there.
When next time you're in town, look us up. We'll take you over here to West End and buy you a Coke.
I want to bring him in here. I got lots of questions.
Yeah,
we just don't have time.
So next time you come to Houston, please give us a call.
Love to have you on the show.
Will do, Don. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Joe. Joe Moy with Beep. He is the CEO. Great talking to him. All right, hey, if you're a member of a car club, we need your group on the air on the In Wheel Time Spotlight, and just email us the club's info and the contact name and number, and we'll do all the work to get you on the air. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Back with Carolina Serratos after a quick break here on ESPN 97.5.
It's time to celebrate President's Day with a true legend of American adventure, the Jeep brand. Because living in the land of the free means occasionally taking the road less traveled. And that's a whole lot easier in a Jeep Cherokee with available trail-rated 4x4 capability. Or in the Jeep Grand Cherokee with an available 8.4-inch Uconnect touchscreen, where adventure's never been more luxurious. Because this President's Day, you deserve a little adventure. And there's no place to find it like the Jeep President's Day event. Jeep is a registered trademark.
In Wheel Time is Houston's most awarded #1 radio car show, and we'd like to bring an In Wheel Time broadcast to your event or fundraiser. Hey, you want to spice up your car show, your cruise-in or car club event? Send an email to info@inwheeltime.com. We'll develop a marketing package that'll put your bunch in front of the biggest radio and social media car audience in Houston. Listen to the In Wheel Time show live every Saturday noon to 2 and watch our stream on YouTube and Facebook. It's Houston's favorite car show. Check us out, inwheeltime.com. To In Wheel Time, Houston's most popular weekly award-winning car talk show. Here on ESPN, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Today's show is presented by Jeep. Celebrate President's Day with a true legend of American adventure, the Jeep brand, and get great deals on our legendary lineup of SUVs at the Jeep President's Day event. And by Ram Trucks, back-to-back Truck of Texas. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, and King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us today in the studio with us. Carolina Serratos from Professional Auto Care. Let's talk about the time of the year it is. Everybody's getting ready for rodeo. You got your tickets? You going to go?
Yet.
Huh?
Not yet.
Well, then you're going to have to get scalp tickets, because I think pretty much every what is it, Lizette? Is that what?
Lizzo.
Oh, sorry.
Liz something.
Lizzo. You got tickets?
Lizzo? Yeah.
You got Lizzo tickets?
I don't have tickets, but I'm familiar.
You're familiar, okay. You're not familiar with Lizzo.
What?
Oh, good. So somebody else is not familiar with Lizzo. I've seen Lizzo on some show, but she's a singer, and I didn't see her sing. She's got a great personality. That's all I know.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
So you plan on going?
I always go to rodeo.
Do you?
Yeah.
Who are you going to go see?
I'm not sure.
Depends
Oh
on what
my
kind of
God.
scalp tickets you
Well, funny, I go to the rodeo to watch the rodeo. They just happen to have
too. I
music there as
love
well.
that.
But I try and get there early enough
My
to watch the
favorite is
rodeo.
mutton bustin'.
Yeah.
I love
Mutton
that.
bustin'.
Yes.
Mutton busting.
That's like, oh my
Everybody who
goodness.
doesn't like mutton busting. If you don't like mutton busting, then forget it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess I bring that up.
Strap your kid onto a seat
No.
that's running full blast.
They hang on to the wool.
Well, they hang on as hard as they can, but they don't always. They kind of wad up and tumble off every now and then.
Well, there's that. So I bring all of that up because you don't want to have your car, truck, SUV break down on the way to the rodeo.
Oh, no.
And, we are at that time of the year, and we kind of mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, with the battery thing. Because here we go, today, 75 degrees. 2 days from now, it's 30.
Yes.
You want to kill a battery? Bingo, that'll do it.
That'll do it.
And so there are certain things that we're getting ready for spring and rodeo. To me, rodeo is the dividing point between winter and spring, because when the rodeo's over with, it's spring.
Yep.
Yeah. And so we're just a few weeks away from rodeo. So what do we need to do?
You get your car looked over. That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old is your battery?
Yeah, well, that's another thing, too. Yeah.
How old how's it look?
Yeah.
Does it have like a science project growing on it?
Yeah, that's right. And we've all had those. Or with those little rubber covers that go over the terminals on top.
That hide the science project.
And then you peel that thing back, and it's like, oh, my gosh, it's like that 20-week-old thing of ham that I've had in the refrigerator.
Oh, my gosh.
And it's growing fuzz in the back of the second shelf that's been hidden back there since Christmas.
Well, and the other thing is you could be growing fuzz inside your air conditioning system.
Yes.
Now it's that time of season as it just begins to warm up again. If you replaced your cabin air filter, and if it doesn't have a cabin air filter, is it growing some kind of mold or fungus down in there? And when you first start your car up in the morning, it smells like my feet.
Oh, I was waiting for you to go to that. I was waiting for that. Gross and disgusting.
There's a solution for that, though. We can take care of that. I don't know if you follow our Instagram or not, but have you ever seen pictures of like what comes out whenever we do the climate control? It is gross.
Yeah. Seriously?
It's gross.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you do? And how does it come out?
So
is it kind of like an enema or something?
No, not quite.
Is it like a what?
No, don't even go there.
What? I mean, I don't tell me.
So
you have to flush it, or?
Yeah, so we have a procedure that we use. It's through the BG products. It's called the BG Climate Control Service. And we put this foam, and what it does, it coats the evaporator
How do you get
core.
the foam? Wait a minute. How do you get the foam?
We make a little incision.
Okay.
And then we have like this can, and then we connect a tube from the can to where the incision is, and then we release all the contents of this can into the housing.
You were right.
And the blower motor's on high, and it pushes it through the evaporator. It's kind of like scrubbing bubbles.
Oh, so you have to make your incision into this thing in the right place. You just can't poke a hole in it and go, okay, this is good.
And there's also a way to do it through the cabin air filter opening, and you can kind of thread the hose in there. There's a couple of different ways to do it.
Okay, I got
Because
it.
like on some vehicles, like the other option wouldn't be available, like on some Mercedes.
Right.
And
So
Land
it's
Rover, you have to do a different
it's like cleaning the condenser coil in the attic for the air conditioning.
It's exactly like cleaning the evaporator coils in the attic.
Exactly like it.
Yeah.
So you could probably use this product in the evaporator coil in the attic if you did it the right way.
I have.
You have?
Oh my
All right.
gosh.
There you go.
Well, I'm just
but it goes in like scrubbing bubbles. So it goes in as not an expanding foam, but an expanding foam, and then you push it through the evaporator
with the blower on.
With the blower motor on high, and then eventually the bubbles break into a clear liquid. Well, the bubbles break into a clear liquid, but they bring some nasty stuff. So it's gonna all that dust and hair. If you got a pet that's ever in the car, that all gets up into your AC system. If you smoke, those nicotine oils, anything that kind of floats around in the car can get into your air conditioning
cool,
system.
damp, dark environment. So you get stuff that grows
in there.
Yeah.
So how do you get it out of there?
Comes out the drain.
Yeah,
when you
The AC
stop
drain?
and you let your car idle.
I never could find that. It's always this wet puddle underneath an area of the car that you kind of look up there and you see it dripping, but you're really not sure exactly where it's coming from.
It's kind of tucked up. It's a little hard to get to sometimes. So, and all that stuff drains out. I always recommend the shop collect it with a clean drain pan and show it to the customer, because that's what you took out of your
We got a cup.
Oh, it's
It's so gross. I mean, it's almost.
So how much does
horrifying.
that cost?
What do you guys charge?
On the shop, it's can be between $100 and $145, somewhere in there.
Wow, well that'd be well worth it going into summertime.
It sounds like it's kind of labor intensive, not so
No.
much.
I mean, it's not labor intensive. I mean, you just,
I mean, it's gonna
especially
take you-
depending what kind of procedure you have to do, you have to be qualified.
You have
and
to know what you're
doing.
doing.
Exactly.
You can
like,
make a huge mistake if
can
you
make
don't know what you're doing.
Huge mistake. So it's a lot of risk per se that you can't have just a general lube tech do it.
So this is not something I want to go home and try on.
I don't think you should.
No,
especially
you.
That big loud hissing noise you would hear.
Ram tracks when you're ready.
Freon coming out of your air conditioning system.
Exactly.
So that's why you do it at a qualified shop, and the product you're putting in has got real heavy antibacterial and fungicide built into it, because the only way to kill mold and bacteria is to touch it with a fungicide. So that's why the foam kind of expands and you push it through. Does a real nice job of killing all that funk in there, and that funk is what creates that smell. Kind of like you throw a wet towel in a wet corner of a building or in the back of your car, and eventually it smells all mold and mildew. It's exactly the smell. That's exactly what's coming out of your air conditioning system.
Disgusting. Okay, so batteries, air conditioning, health,
tires.
Tires.
Check your tires. Now it's going to maybe start raining again.
Yeah,
and you may have aired up the tires because it got cold, and you may have to air down the tires when it gets hot. Yeah. So those are all just part of the maintenance things.
Right.
Get it ready for the summer too, because it's time to spin all the fluids in it.
One of the other things too that you taught me is the fact that bring it in, let's look over it, let's do an oil change. We'll give it the 200-point inspection or whatever, and we'll create a list, and we'll categorize the list in what's important to get done today, next month, sometime before summer starts, and maybe 6 months from now.
Yeah, that's exactly what our Service Smart program does. So we look over the vehicle in regard to safety, repair, and maintenance. Safety stuff that is like brakes. We need brakes, tires. Tires are important.
Right.
Repair, things that need attention, that are broken, but they're not hurting anything right now, and you have a bit of time to budget it out. And then you have maintenance, things that would be really important to do depending on what your long-term goals are with the vehicle.
Which is what your Service Smart program is that you've developed and continue to develop.
Yes.
Is all the way back to a previous segment, build a plan for your car, know what you want to do, and Service Smart puts that plan in front of you so you can schedule what you're needing to do.
Absolutely. And then every quarter, our shop actually emails you a report card, so it will show you when do we last do something and when is it coming up due again. Not just for service, but for inspection, because everybody drives differently. We have different weather here than what they have up north. So it's just a matter of let's just get in the shop and physically look at it. If you don't need it, you don't need it.
And that's a real key, because most everybody thinks, oh, my maintenance schedule I need to get the oil changed every so often. It really doesn't. Manufacturers' maintenance schedules don't have oil change as a singular function. That 5,000-mile service may have 8 to 15 inspections included in it, as well as the oil change and the tire rotation and some other things. Those inspections are there for a reason, because you want to watch that item as it progresses, as the vehicle gets mileage on it.
It goes back to what Don's example was earlier, not doing a maintenance item, then you have a major repair down the line, catching something early.
We love having you here. We love the fact that you brought in the tiara today.
Well, you said I'm the princess of car care, so
she
I think
is.
I look the part.
Absolutely. She is the princess of car care. Our princess of car care. Carolina Serratos with Professional Auto Care. Thank you very much. Look her up, professionalautocare.com.
Yep.
We've
Time
put
now.
you up on our Facebook page already.
Yeah. So time now for our weekly Ram Tracks feature in Wheel Time's weekly look into the Ram Nation, Mr. Mars.
I was looking at some things for the Ram truck, and I ran across, the base engine for the Ram truck is a 3.6-liter Pentastar V6.
Yep.
They've put that with their e-torque. They've done a lot of different things with that vehicle over the years, and I found it really interesting. I figured out this vehicle, that V6, was actually introduced in 2010, and since that time, it's been on all kinds of awards, top 10 best engines, all kinds of things. And this year, they are putting it into the Jeep Gladiator pickup. Now, when they do that, that means it's available in 16 models across 10 different vehicle segments. We often say that this is a rock-solid engine, and this is FCA's go-to engine. And now, as they have made over 10 million of these engines and put them out there on the road. That's how good this engine is and how well it runs and how well they do it. And they continue to refine it and make it even better. So anybody that's looking at that engine, don't worry about it being a V6. Don't worry about dependability. Just look at the record of what it's done since 2010.
Coming up, Conrad's Car Clinic. We got the stories making automotive news headlines. That and more just ahead on the In Wheel Time radio program, streaming on ESPN 97.5 and on YouTube and Facebook and all things in between. Stay with us. Back after this quick break.
Ram Trucks, back-to-back Truck of Texas. The landscape in the Lone Star State has changed, and we've changed with it. Stronger, more powerful, innovative, and luxurious. Awards are great, but the only thing on our mind is getting better, delivering harder for Texans, and pushing the limits of what's possible. Because when you lead from within, you redefine what a truck can do. Ram, built to serve. Ram is registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
It's back and better than ever. Tailpipes and Tacos, West Houston's best Saturday morning cruise-in car show, returns February 15th. Tailpipes and Tacos welcomes all specialty cars, classics, hot rods, and trucks. Coffee, tacos, and cars at Loopy Tortillas in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland, just 2 minutes south of I-10. Saturday morning, February 15th from 8 to 11. Tailpipes and Tacos at Loopy Tortillas in Katy. Proceeds benefit Shirley's Kids, a 501c3 charity, weather permitting. We'll see you there. You know, Conrad just called me the captain of this ship and then said, he is the Tennille. Now, there are some people that are listening, watching us, that will recognize what Captain and Tennille were, and others that won't, but those that do, thank you. If you'd like to get in touch with us here at In Wheel Time, shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for Conrad's Car Clinic, and it's going to be good.
So I went out to eat last night, and when I ordered my food, I asked the waitress, is the price negotiable? And she kind of tilted her head like a puppy and said, no. So then I went back into the kitchen, and I told the prep cook, I know how a guy does that cheaper. I got a brother that can do that cheaper than you can. And then I hovered over the chef and asked, if I brought my own steak in, would you cook it for me and give me a discount? And then he said no. And I asked, well, maybe if I washed my own dishes, I could save some money. Well, eventually they threw me out. You wouldn't act this way going into a steakhouse. Stop doing it when you bring your car into a shop to a mechanic to work on it. You know, you have to look at a shop has some pretty monster-sized expenses, not only rent and electricity, but look at all the equipment. A lot of shops out there are going to have $200,000, $300,000 worth of equipment, you know, and even more, depends on the size of the shop. Looking at a technician, they may have invested $8,000, $10,000 in tools. I'll be honest with you, I've seen some technicians that have $60,000, $70,000 of tools when they start buying all the electronic stuff that's out there. All of those investments, they have to create an income to pay for. You know, the shop's invested in training. Most good technicians have spent hundreds of hours in training, and not all of that's for free. The shop employs many people just to serve that customer. Cashiers, shuttle drivers, parts runners, porters, all of those things cost the shop money, you know, and then again, they have to follow state, city, and federal regulations, and there's costs involved in that. So why do you want to bring your car in and ask them for a discount when they're structurally, they're set up to give you a fair charge in most cases for the work that they do? You know, Robert Gruner, a friend of mine, says, you know, you pay for three things when you go into a shop. You pay for parts, you pay for labor, and you pay for knowledge. Which one do you want the discount on?
That's pretty good.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Was I in your time frame there, Don? I was given a time structure, and I knew I was going to get the hook.
And actually, you know, you beat it by 2 minutes.
Oh, well, that was faster than I thought.
Yeah. Congratulations. I'm speechless. Can't believe it.
You had me nervous.
Do you have the events calendar?
Yeah, well, events, you know, stuff that's coming up in the future. the Belleville Classic Car Stampede in downtown Belleville on March 14th.
I want to do another road trip.
Well, that
on a
might be one.
Sunday. On a Sunday. I want to go on a road trip on a Sunday.
Okay, we'll find one for you, and we'll do that.
No, you need to go with me in the.
I would happily do that and go with you. You know,
on a
I'm
Sunday.
good with that. Sanger High School is going to have their car, truck, and motorcycle show benefiting their softball team on March 21st. Also, March 21st, Brazos County Show and Shine at the Yankee Tavern in Anderson, Texas. On March 28th, the 8th Annual Lone Star Deluxe Hot Rod and Music Festival. And then remember, next weekend is Tailpipes and Tacos at Lupe Tortillas. And then a couple of weekends after that is Lone Star Throwdown up at the Conroe Conventions, or Fort Bend, not Fort Bend, what is it?
Montgomery County.
Montgomery County Convention Center. So, and we'll be live from both events.
Yes, we will. That, as a matter of fact, the Baytown race, we've been kind of working on this for a while. So I talked to Seth Angel out at Houston Raceway Park, and I also talked to Stan, and it just so happens that the NHRA Spring Nationals and the April Tailpipes and Tacos events out at Lupe Tortilla are the same day, same weekend. So what we're going to do, and I'm just announcing this now, telling everybody, what we're going to do is we're going to have two broadcasts on April the 18th. You'll need to know this. As I look, yeah. So we're going to have two broadcasts, both of them from the NHRA Spring Nationals in Baytown. The first one is going to be the morning show, and it'll be on the air from 8:30 to 10:30. And it'll be our Facebook and our social media show. And we're going to do it out in Baytown because there's only three of us, and we can only be at one place at one time. But we're going to do it on Facebook, and we're going to shoot the signal out to Katie for Tailpipes and Tacos. So we'll be in Baytown broadcasting to everybody on the internet in the morning and to Tailpipes and Tacos. And then at noon, we'll also do another Facebook and YouTube feed, but we'll also be on the radio. So we're going to have two minutes in one, two big broadcasts on the same day, all hopefully with lots of stars from NHRA on the air with us like we had last year, except we're going to double down on this one.
And the funny thing is Stan and Sheila are going to be there in Baytown as well because they drag race for fun.
Yeah. So anyway, just wanted to throw that in there. So we've got that to look forward to.
Another big two-for weekend.
A two-for weekend. That's exactly right. Today's automotive news coming up next here on the In Wheel Time radio program on ESPN 97.5.
It's time to celebrate President's Day with a true legend of American adventure, the Jeep brand. Because living in the land of the free means occasionally taking the road less traveled. And that's a whole lot easier in a Jeep Cherokee with available trail-rated 4x4 capability.
You'll have around about 5 minutes.
Available 8.4-inch Uconnect touchscreen, where adventure's never been more luxurious. Because this President's Day, you deserve a little adventure. And there's no place to find it like the Jeep President's Day event. Jeep is a registered trademark.
Look out in the street there. You know what you don't see? My car. Because I had to sell it to pay the lawyer I hired when I got busted for drunk driving. Know what else you don't see? My girlfriend, who decided that a guy with no car and no license and no money was no fun.
Cops are out there cracking down on drunk driving all across the country, and they'll see you before you see them. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Welcome back to the In Wheel Time radio program, ESPN 97.5. Hey, you belong to a car, truck, or Jeep club? We'd love to feature your group here on In Wheel Time. Just send the info and contact information to info@inwheeltime.com, and we'll put your bunch in our car club spotlight. Time now for the stories making automotive news headlines this week from autonews.com. Ford Motor Company appears to have inadvertently revealed details about the timing of the next generation Mustang. It's a great story. In a LinkedIn job posting, for a wind, road noise, and air leakage plant vehicle team engineer. From the official Ford account, the automaker said it was seeking an applicant to, quote, deliver Ford and Lincoln quality on the current model Mustang S550 and be the final sign-off on the Ford 2023 Mustang S650 vehicle program before it goes to the customers.
2023. Oops. The things you can learn on LinkedIn, right?
The ad said the job would require the person to be on-site launch lead for wind, road noise, and air leakage attributes when S650 launches in 2022 as a 2023 model year. As of Wednesday morning, the posted applicants were no longer being accepted. I thought that was pretty darn good. Funny. Oops, I'm sorry. Did I post that? I didn't mean to. Well, you're fired. General Motors issued a second recall January 28th to fix issues caused by software intended to resolve a December 12th callback for brake safety issues in some 2019 Chevy Silverado, GMC Sierra, and Cadillac CT6 vehicles.
Which is going out of production anyhow. So.
The original recall included 550,000 vehicles globally, out of which about 162,000 were repaired with the flawed software. The first software error could disable the vehicle's electronic stability control or the anti-lock braking system, and no error indicators would illuminate, according to the NHTSA documents.
Yeah, after they fired that guy who went to work over at Ford. And posted the Mustang, but wind noise guy.
Yeah. Honda, considering keeping operations suspended for longer than planned at its 3 plants in the Chinese city at the center of the new coronavirus outbreak, according to the Nikkei newspaper on Thursday. Output of most Honda's other plants in China have been suspended through February 9th. Automakers and suppliers have idled many Chinese factories and limited employee travel in line with government guidelines to prevent the spread of the virus that has now led to some 560 deaths in the country. Serious stuff. Auto supplier Continental said it plans to start construction this year on a new plant in New Braunfels, Texas.
Oh, wow.
That will manufacture products for advanced driver assistance systems. German company said Thursday it'll invest $110 million in the new 215,000 square foot facility over the next 3 years. The plant will produce radar systems and will add more than 130 new jobs to the region, according to a press release. So if you're looking for a job in the car industry and want to move out of Houston, maybe to New Braunfels, get your application in now. Continental expects to break ground on the new plant in mid-2020 and will begin production in 2021. The existing plant in Seguin, or as I like to refer to it as Seguin, Texas, which produces radar sensors about 15 miles from New Braunfels, will focus on powertrain components. Do we need to take a break before the end of the show?
1 minute. We have one more break left, though, yes.
A designer, an automaker chief, a parts executive, and a comedian known for his car collection will be inducted into the Automotive Hall of Fame this summer. Mong Koo Chung, the Hyundai Motor Company chairman who turned the South Korean automaker into a global powerhouse, he's one of them. Thomas Gallagher, described by the Hall of Fame as the relentless innovator who led Genuine Parts Company for more than 25 years, he's going in. Helene Rother, one of the industry's first female designers, she joined GM in the early 40s and later established her own design studio before moving to Nash Motors. And Jay Leno, auto enthusiast and longtime Tonight Show host, who now hosts CNBC's primetime series Jay Leno's Garage, all going into the Automotive Hall of Fame on Thursday, July 23rd at the MGM Grand in Detroit. We've got more of the In Wheel Time radio program right after a quick break here on ESPN 97.5.
Ram trucks. Back.
You'll have a minute 20. You want the closing bed?
Our state has changed, and we've changed with it. Stronger, more powerful.
Music left?
Yeah.
Why don't you do a little music bump and then we'll do the clips.
Copy.
Is getting better, delivering harder for Texans, and pushing the limits of what's possible. Because when you lead from within, you redefine what a truck can do. Ram, built to serve. Ram is registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Hello. As a matter of fact, I was going to bring up the $1.7 billion fourth quarter loss that Ford Motor Company had, but I just hate to talk about finances and boring stuff like that. But, you know, for all those people that work at Ford Motor Company, ooh, good luck. $1.7 billion in the fourth quarter for the loss. Yikes.
And they fired the one guy for it, right?
Yeah. Well, that's it for today's In Wheel Time, presented by Jeep and Ram. Hey, when you're on Facebook, please give us a like. You'll get Conrad's unicorn hunting features, along with all things automotive. And while you're online, you'll want to sign up for feeds on Twitter and Instagram, YouTube, and all the other social media platforms, too. We are there. In the ESPN control room, the fabulous Harrison Lerman. For Mike Out of This World Mars and King Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks again to Carolina Serratos with Professional Auto Care for coming in.
That's Princess Carolina Serratos.
It is, Princess. Hey, next week, tailpipes and tacos at Loopy Tortillas out in Katy at I-10 and 99 and Kingsland Boulevard. We hope to join you out there, 8:30 to 10 for a live appearance out there on the radio. Who knows when. Thanks for being part of the In Wheel Time family. Have a great week. Stay fabulous like you know you are.